Hello to all the runners out there, Tommy Matthews here from OLF. I've been asked by Runner Dude's blog to put together a quick kettlebell workout for you, which is going to improve your aerobic and anaerobic capacity and also your strength endurance. Key focus on this is looking at the posterior chain, the trunk and torso, or the core as you may call it, and also the upper body. We're trying to improve our muscular endurance and also our strength. The great thing about the kettlebell for any runner is that it's really going to be hitting the posterior chain, and when we're looking at somebody's running movement, the posterior chain is a key player in that movement or that running gait. So the three exercises are going to be very simple workout. The three exercises we're going to do are a swing, a two-arm swing, a one-arm clean and a windmill. The two-arm swing is going to be done for time, so we're going to be focusing on not only our muscular endurance, our power and our strength, but also we're going to be tapping into our aerobic and anaerobic capacities. On top of that, we've got the one-arm clean, which is again going to be done for time. With that exercise, it's going to be looking at posterior chain strength, but also upper body strength across the arm and the shoulders. And our final exercise, the windmill, is a triplanar movement, which is going to be working on across the whole body, but really focusing on the core, the torso, the trunk, and the shoulder range of motion. So I'll break down the exercises quickly first, just to teach you the movement, and then we'll show how you're going to implement it and integrate it into the workout. So the first exercise is your swing. Start off with by deadlifting the kettlebell up off the floor, so we come over the bell and we stand up tall. We extend our hips, we keep our glutes tight, and we get our whole body in a very tall position. From here, we push it off the hips and pull it back. So the movement is a swing-based movement. It's very dynamic, it's not done slowly. As the kettlebell falls and drops, we hinge at the hip joint and tip over. We maintain a neutral spinal position throughout this movement as we're tipping over, and the kettlebell is travelling behind us, not towards the floor. Once we feel this stretch through the posterior chain, especially in the hamstrings, we know we're reaching the end of our range. This is when we start to come back up again and come through with the hips first into extension, and then the kettlebell travels through no higher than shoulder height. It doesn't need to go any higher. All we're focusing on is what's going on across the hip joint. So again, deadlift the bell up, start up tall, head up, chest up, off the hips. Make sure your arms are relaxed completely. It's not about the arms, it's all about the hips. We want to be focusing on triple extension, which is ankle, knee and hip all extending at the same time as we're standing up, and also hip extension. We want to be coming to a full range of motion across our hip joint. Great for runners, because triple extension is very important when we're running, and also hip extension is very important when running. A lot of runners tend to have tightness through the hip joints, so we want to get our glutes working properly, and we want to release through our hip flexors. So that's the swing as an exercise. To integrate that into the workout, you're going to do it for time. You're basically going to work on an interval training session, which is probably what you're used to doing on the track or out in the park. The interval training session will be up to you and your fitness levels and your strength levels. For me, as an example, I'm going to do 30 seconds on, 15 seconds off. So I would do 30 seconds of my swing, 15-second break, 30 seconds swing, 15 seconds break. Depending on my fitness level, I'd do that 5 times before I need a rest. I could work up anywhere up to 5 minutes perhaps before I actually break. Okay, so just for a quick example, I'll do a quick set, 30 seconds on, through the hips, and then I got my 15 seconds to rest. Complete that as many times as you want. Change the interval ratio, however you want to adjust it. If you're fitter, if you're stronger, or if you're getting fitter and stronger doing this, make it harder for yourself. You change your intervals as you need to. The next exercise is your one arm clean. Still going to be focusing on the hip joint, but now the kettlebell is coming from here to here. So we're going to take the kettlebell in the corner of the handle here. We're going to deadlift up to here. We're going to perform a small swing through the hips, and then bring the bell up to the rack position with the elbow tight to the body. Through the hips, into the rack position. Through the hips, into the rack. The bell is moving around the outside of the arm. Okay? It's not coming over the top like this. That's going to hit and bang and hurt. We're taking the bell around the arm. So it's like a corkscrew around the arm. As the bell falls down, it comes through the legs, and we turn our thumb back and up. Thumb back and up. So that's your one arm clean. It's exactly the same focus in terms of interval training style. So we're going to work for 30 seconds on one arm, 30 seconds on the other arm, now 30 seconds off. That's my interval. Your interval could be anything, okay? So you can adjust that however you want to. I'm not going to do a full interval session now, just because we want to get through this video and show you the other exercise. So that's your one arm clean. You're going to find that works really well for, again, your posterior chain and your lower back strength, but also now starting to bring in that arm, which is going to help your shoulder and arm development or strength as well. Okay, the final exercise is your windmill. The windmill is a very different type of movement. It's a more controlled movement. It's not quite as dynamic. It requires a lot of strength through the torso and the trunk, and also mobility through the thoracic and shoulder area. First thing you're going to do is bring the kettlebell into an overhead position. So we clean and press to an overhead position here. The first important thing is to set ourselves up properly. So we keep our arm completely locked throughout. We turn our feet away from the kettlebell. So our feet have gone away from the kettlebell. I push my hip out towards the bell, and then I come down my back leg. I come down as far as I feel comfortable, keeping my arm locked, and then I extend at the top. Again, hip to the side, and come down. Hip to the side, and come down. Once you perform the desired reps, swapping over, same on the other side. So press the bell up, we lock the arm out, we turn our feet away from the kettlebell, we keep the arm locked throughout the movement. We push our hip to the side, and then we come down, follow the arm down, the back leg, to where you feel comfortable. You'll probably feel a good stretch through your hamstrings, into your adductors perhaps as well. Hip out to the side, and up. So for the windmill as an exercise, I generally keep the repetitions low because we're under quite a lot of tension throughout that movement, and we need to maintain the form and technique. With all of these exercises, the swing, the clean and the windmill, when you're learning them, remember to keep the quality high and the repetitions or the time low. In that way you'll make sure you're performing the right things at the right time and you're learning the skills. The kettlebell workout there, focus on the swing and the clean first, and when you've done your interval session with the swing and the clean, then move on to the windmill to work on that torso, that trunk, that thoracic and that shoulder movement. All three of those exercises I think will really improve a runner's strength, endurance, their power, their speed, and also their aerobic and anaerobic capacities. So give them a go, and to all the runners out there on Runner Dudes blog, enjoy and have fun. Thank you very much.